Hello, and welcome to another episode of My Green Thing. That green thing. That green thing. Okay. Um, Today it's starting to rain, but I think I have enough time after splitting wood to do one more little project. Um, I'm going to cut back this PG hydrangea to a more manageable height. For tools, I've got my 2-foot lopping shears, a sharp handsaw, and a pair of hand snips, hand pruners, bypass pruners. A lot of times customers say, how far should I cut back my hedge, my hydrangea, my whatever? My little joke is, I think you should cut it back about this height. But there's a lot of sense to that. Why would you want to cut it unless you really need a super tall, large, flowering PG hydrangea? Cut it to a height where it's easy to manage each year. They get cut back every year. They grow 6 feet every year. So rather than get out my pole pruner and make it a beautiful rounded off shrub way up there, I'm just going to go around quickly, stub it back to a nice framework of healthy, strong limbs. It'll bloom next year on current year wood. That's why I like to prune it now, prune it before winter. That's my preference, because if you leave these heavy spent flower heads through the winter, they'll get built up with ice and snow. The wind and rain ravages them, snaps them all off. You've seen it. It leaves jagged. This is very brittle shrub. It leaves jagged, unsightly ends that you'll have to prune anyway. Why not do it now before the shrub's ruined? So, with my 3 tools, the handsaw I may not need, or I may need it for a larger cut. So I'm going to look for appropriate nodes down in this height and just walk around and around and around. I call this process roughing it out. There, my dog can have fun with. Last year I did get out the pole pruner, but this year I don't have the ambition. There's enough chores without having to complicate something that could really be made easy. So let's rough this thing out, making some larger cuts. Keep in mind your end result. I'm aiming to get the overall shape should be like a mushroom top, rounded, like an upside down bowl or top of a button mushroom. The highest point should be top center, and everything else falls away from the top center. So if you can keep that picture in your mind as you're pruning, your end result will be better. You can always tweak it a little bit at the end. The larger stems, I'm not afraid to just kind of bury those down into the interior. Everything's going to grow again. Everything's going to put out new growth. But let's see if we can make this an easier to manage shrub for next season. I really don't want to get out a ladder. I'm going to attempt to get everything from the ground. Cut that baby down low. Ugh. All right, I will pause the video while I continue with this and bring you back in a couple of minutes. Okay, that took about 10 minutes. I didn't need the hand saw. I was able to reach everything pretty much with the loppers and my hand snips. I roughed it out. I walked around several times, trying to get everything in that outline to be within that mushroom cap shape. I think we're just about done. It's ready for winter, ready to grow and bloom next spring. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll clean this mess up another day. It's getting kind of rainy. My dog looks wet and cold. We're going to go inside. See you next time on that green thing.